F. Murray Abraham is here. We're
Welcome.
live, so you
I'm
can
Jim.
come join us.
Pleasure.
Reprobates.
Welcome.
Sam, how are you?
Hello, Sam.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Yes, well, thank you for being here. Very exciting times. Homeland, the whole thing, right?
It amazes me with these shows where you interview so many people because I don't know how you get it all straight. I mean,
Yeah.
how you keep it all in. I mean, what do you have, notes and things?
We do have notes, but we also screw up a lot.
We do, yeah.
You're allowed?
Yeah. F. Murray Abraham is here to promote The Office, a great show on Netflix. Oh, I'm saying. Yeah, I don't know. You kind of just have to pack your. Well, it's like studying for like a test in school. Like I tend to pack my brain full of stuff the night before for this show, and then by tomorrow I won't know anything.
gone.
It's gone. It's
Really?
over. Yeah.
I believe that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, I got to imagine like when you've got a role and you've got to memorize dialogue or scenes,
No,
like you're not memorizing a movie.
That's
You're
exactly
going
right.
scene by scene.
As soon as you're finished shooting it, then the brain relaxes.
Right. Exactly. Like you're just in that space.
And I've worked with a lot of actors whose brains are always relaxed.
Is that right?
Just guys who are lazy and don't want to learn what they're supposed to learn.
Either that or they're stoned out of their mind.
Oh, really? Are you patient on set if that happens? Like, are you like, this guy's an asshole?
What can you do? No, I never use language like that.
Oh, me
Can
neither,
you talk
normally.
that way?
You can.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I was
Yes.
just trying to be cool.
This is radio, right?
Yeah.
Right. I can pick my nose?
You
Oh,
can
please.
if you want to.
And I'll eat it.
Yeah, see, that's the other thing.
Can I go sit by you?
We don't need to do a lot of prep because we can curse and talk about eating boogers. So we can have a Hollywood legend in studio and make jokes about eating boogers within 2 minutes.
Almighty.
So it's really not a problem for us.
I'm so glad I'm here.
we missed each other. We've never met, but you were at Louis C.K.'s house one
Oh, Thanksgiving.
Yeah, and I came and I was so bummed that you had already left. That was a really.
Have you had him on the show?
We know
Oh,
Louis
yes.
for years.
What
Yeah.
a
Yeah, we love him.
guy. What
We
an
love him.
extraordinary man.
He really is.
You played his father. Was it right?
I played his uncle.
Oh, his uncle. Okay.
And did you ever see that segment?
I did
Yes.
We shot it in the Russian tea room, but the fact is that he exists. Some months later, somebody stopped me on the street who was a relative of Louis, and she said, "That's him. That's what the guy's really, really like. That amazing character." Anyway, it was a treat. He's a good man to work for, by the way.
You
How
enjoyed.
nice to be able to say that about someone.
And,
Yeah.
and actually
You know?
mean it.
He's not a jerk. He's
Right.
He's really terrific.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is it one of those scenarios where you almost wish, like let's just do more projects?
Oh,
Like, let's
yeah.
just do more. Let's figure out what else we can do.
Well, he invited me back. I've done 3 different characters on the show.
Right.
So I'm not looking for more work. It would always be nice.
Yeah.
But did you see that thing he did, that short series he made?
Horace and,
Yeah.
Yeah, I
and
saw some.
Pete.
It's
Is that?
fantastic.
Yeah. I also like that he's doing stuff that's not so like by the book. Like he's not doing stuff to
No.
fit into a genre or to an audience. He's just doing the shows he wants
He's
to
an
do.
original mind.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
we're here to talk about me.
That's right.
Absolutely. I was only using him to segue back into you. I didn't like that we went off on him at all. Hey, and I was fascinated to know you used to go into Juarez because I'm kind of fascinated with Juarez because it's such a scary place and there's so much cartel violence. And growing up in Texas, you guys would go down there when you were a kid.
Yeah, it was never that dangerous then.
It wasn't bad then?
I grew up 2 blocks from the Rio Grande. And people were coming back and forth across the river to work, you know. There was nowhere any danger. We practically lived in Juarez.
What would you do there?
Oh, none of your business.
Oh, come on. Tell me. It's probably the same stuff I do here.
I don't know how we got away with it, but hookers were $2, $1.50 a piece, and we were introduced to sex that way.
Wow.
And that's just what kids did in the.
You guys are so lascivious. Wow.
No. For me, it's the price. Not the activity. I'm fascinated.
You know how much
$2.
bigger your apartment could be?
Oh my God Almighty! I could own the building if I was getting $2. Yeah, that's the way a lot of guys get introduced to it, myself included, in a lot of ways. And it's weird because the reason I'm reading it is because you said we're lucky none of us got any diseases. So it's
Right.
like back then you just didn't think of I should protect.
No. The dick doesn't have a conscience. This is the way we're going to go, it says, and you go that way.
Right.
But it was lucky.
It was.
But we could eat cheaply there. We could afford to live like young men on very little money.
And how old are you when this starts?
Oh God, 10? No. I'm probably around. It must have been about 14.
So you were 14 when you lost your virginity? That's pretty amazing.
Yeah, 13 or 14. That's not unusual then. I don't know if it's that unusual now.
I don't know. I
For
mean,
me-
I'd like to think it is because it was way after that for me, but that's probably just me.
Yeah. So you'd go down there, and did you do that for a couple of years? You guys would go down and.
Oh, no, it used to be the place to go because you could afford it, for one thing. It was cheap, and it was good. And you could behave like an adult at 14 or 15.
Right.
Tequila was 10 cents a shot, for example.
Did you have like a Did you have like a regular place you'd go to? Like, okay, this is the brothel we like.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a Paris de Noche. I remember it exactly. Paris de Noche. That's right. And the place we hung out was Fred's. It was a bar, 10 cents a shot of whiskey.
Have you been back at all to just look? This is
Well,
where we
every
used
time
to.
that's funny because every time I speak Spanish,
Uh-huh.
I grew up speaking Spanish, and Juarez and Mexicans were part of my life. I've always believed I have a Mexican soul, frankly, and the idea that when I go back there to visit, they say, "Oh, you don't want to go to Juarez now; it's too much trouble." It really is heartbreaking because it was part of my life and was a good part of. It's not all this we're talking about, just drinking and whore. That's not. It was a culture of people that I responded to and identified with. There was a courtesy about Mexican people.
You may have gotten away with it though, because even the cartel guys, whenever they get them, they all have Scarface posters. Like it's for real.
That's
they
true.
worship Tony Montana. You may be one of the few guys, you, Pacino, and a few, who could actually probably go through there safely if they realized who you were.
And function, huh?
Yeah.
Maybe so.
Out of respect for the film.
Yeah, well, yeah, I guess maybe you're right.
Did it hurt when they threw you out of the helicopter?
Terrible question.
Yeah, it's just really bad. Were you afraid of flying at that point?
The guy who got thrown out, I don't know if you know it, but these stuntmen and women negotiate each stunt because each stunt is different.
I didn't know
right?
that.
Oh, so they're
And they
salaried
talk
per
about- they
stunt?
talk about each payment.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this guy who did that stunt out of the helicopter has never done that before. He said, you better have several cameras set up because I want to do this one time. And if you'll look carefully, you'll see the shoe come off his foot and come up through the frame.
Really?
Yeah, it was a scary thing. But when I did it, it was shot from down. Do you want to hear this?
Yes.
Yeah, please.
I was down. The camera was down, but I guess about 3 or 4 feet below this mound of this side of this cliff, and the helicopter was there. And what they had done was set up a whole bunch of cardboard boxes. That's what these guys jump out onto. And they said, okay, when we push out of the helicopter, here's how the noose works. They showed me the rope and said, here it is. It's not really connected, so that if anything goes wrong, it'll pop loose and you'll be strangled. And I said, let's shoot this. Let's not rehearse it because it's never going to be as scary as it is the first time.
Right.
And I got to tell you something, man. You put that rope around your neck, even though you know it's shit scared.
And you got pushed out.
And I got pushed out, and I went, 3 or 4 feet. Then the next time, I said, "Ooh, let's do it again."
Right.
That's the difference.
Yeah, there is that thing where it's like, even if they tell you it's going to be okay,
Yeah, sure.
the first time,
Right.
once you actually go through it and it's okay,
Exactly.
that's when you know it's like I got nothing to worry about.
If you want to try and experiment along those lines, if you know someone with a pistol, make sure that it's empty and put it in your mouth and see what happens.
I've done similar things.
That's your private business.
But the pistols that Jim puts in his mouth are usually loaded.
Exactly.
And they shoot.
And more dangerous than the guns.
Oh, the slow killer.
You guys get paid for this.
We
We
do.
do. It's
Yeah,
really
it's
fun.
fantastic.
and you're promoting Homeland, and it's
Yes.
amazing what people. There's this whole big thing like, oh, him and Manny Patinkin don't get along, and then you feel like that's not true.
It's bullshit.
It is bullshit, right?
But it's, I guess it's good for business.
Yeah, it gets people talking about Homeland.
No, we've known each other for 40 years. It's nonsense.
Have you gotten to the point where when on-set rumors like that are around, do you just blow them off and be like, it's promotion for the show, I don't give a shit?
I do, but, it doesn't happen that often with me. But these really prominent actors, all that shit that people write about them, I don't know how they blow it off, How do they keep from getting crazy?
Right.
You're a prominent actor.
Well,
Won the Oscar.
I'm prominent. I don't know.
You won
That's
the
an
Oscar.
interesting thing. Yeah, that's nice. But
Where do you have
I mean,
it?
think of Al Pacino.
Right.
To name
Sure.
a really good famous actor. I mean, I did a play once with a couple of very famous people. Mm-hmm. What did I do? Waiting for Godot. Who was in that? Shame on me. Steve Martin.
Steve Martin was in it.
And
Yeah.
Robin Williams.
Yeah.
And we tried to walk from the rehearsal to lunch. We never did that again. because they come out of the woodwork for these guys.
And it's just every day.
Now that's a prominent actor. That's fame.
Well, yeah, but they're
But
also
they're grabbing you, man. It's like it's scary. They were grabbing him. I mean, really pulling and take a picture with me. Come on, hey Steve. Hey, I like you. Fuck off. You know?
And
By
does
the
that
way, I
make you
said Manny
great?
Patinkin. I said his last name wrong because I was thinking Potemkin Cadillac. That's a Cadillac dealer.
Battleship
Yeah,
Potemkin.
I said his name.
Does that make you grateful for like your position? You're like, you know what? I have an Oscar. I don't need the level of fame that a Steve Martin and Robin Williams have if that's what comes with it.
Well, that's true, but you also don't have the money that comes with it.
That's true. So, yeah, that'd be nice, wouldn't it?
No complaints. My life is really in the theater.
When you won it, obviously we ask everybody kind of a similar question. Like, what are you thinking right before they reach you? Like, there's no way I'm getting this, or did you kind of know, like, I'm confident?
Oh, it's that thing you have. It's like you're going out on a date. You think, is it going to work tonight? Is it
Right.
Gonna be, and you just hope for the best. And you try to pretend like it doesn't matter, and of course it matters like crazy.
Right. It's not just an honor to be on the date.
awful
Like
to
the
be
honor is to seal the deal at the end of the date. That's the story that you want to go home with.
Yeah, people talk about being cool. I know I may have looked cool, but I was, inside. I want it.
Yeah. So you win it, and then you go home, and it's that whole party that night's got to be the most amazing thing because you're the man of the hour. Does that wear off in a day or two, or like?
Yes, I was going to ask, when does the high wear off?
When does that high? Yeah.
Yeah, immediately.
Does it?
Really?
Yeah, because what you do is you go from that, which Hollywood really does well.
Yeah.
And you go that to your life, which is back in Brooklyn.
Right.
My family, getting breakfast, getting the kids to school.
Right.
And you think, well, I like the other one too.
Yeah.
I'm still an Oscar winner. Is there a party tonight? They're like, no.
Exactly.
It was just the one in L.A. and then you got on a plane.
But it was possible if I had stayed there, because I went back to Brooklyn the next day, it would have continued. Because they thrive on that.
Yes.
And it was a question of doing that and promoting myself and, the future. And I said, no, I want to go home.
Oh, you wanted
Wow.
to go home?
Yeah.
Just
Do you
your
wish you
family.
hadn't for a few days?
I wanted to share my Oscar with my neighbors.
Yeah.
Where do you have your
No.
Oscar?
I get it right here. My mother is Italian lady, and I'm a real Italian son, I got to tell you. And she had it, God rest her soul. She had it there on the mantelpiece with 2 candles. She was so proud.
Oh, you're Italian.
I am, and my father's Syrian. He was a Syrian refugee in the last century.
So does it bother you what's going on now, or you see that
Yes,
they're going to be
yeah.
denied entry?
Being afraid of 3 or 4, 5-year-old Syrian orphan children doesn't seem American to me. It'd be nice to open the doors at least to the orphans, anyhow.
Yeah, and you wonder too, like they were like, well, we'll bring them in when they're kids. And they're going to be conditioned to be terrorists as they grow older. And you're like, if anything's going to condition a 4 or 5-year-old to be a terrorist, wouldn't it be
Not to bring them in.
finding out
Yeah.
when as they get older? You mean I could have gone to America at 4 or 5 and they wouldn't let me in?
Yeah, my family was super patriots because of that. I mean, they saved their lives. They came over here starving because
Right.
it was a famine in Syria and in those days. And the point is that my 2 brothers are in a military cemetery. I mean, we're patriots. I'm a spokesperson for the Multi-Faith Alliance for Syrian Refugees.
Have you gone back a lot since?
It's hard to go back these days.
These days,
It's a little
yeah.
bit dangerous.
Sure. But I mean, like
You
over
can't
the
go back
years-
anywhere. You can't go back to Syria.
Right.
You can't go back to Juarez.
Juarez.
Like you just left a trail of damage everywhere.
Yeah, I take full responsibility. But the other thing is that I'm half Italian,
Yeah,
and Italy's pretty nice.
it's not bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
know Italy? You been
No,
there?
no. I mean, but everybody.
Shame
that's-
on you. It's
I know.
wonderful.
They just had a big an earthquake. There was that whole thing. There's a lodge got snow dumped
Up
onto
in the
it.
north. It's a shame.
Yeah.
But it's. I got to tell you, you heard those good things about Italy.
Yeah.
It's all true. It's just. It's fun.
Yeah.
So when did you-
I've only heard good things from people who go to Italy.
Yeah.
Like they
I've done
just
a lot of movies there.
Yeah.
You have.
Yeah.
I hear the food is not good.
It's true.
terrible.
It stinks.
Yeah.
It stinks. So you, when did you move to Brooklyn?
You guys are fucking crazy.
When did you move to Brooklyn?
I moved to Brooklyn when my second child was born because we couldn't afford Manhattan for a bigger apartment, and we went to Eastern Parkway across from the museum, and it was 7 big rooms for $240.
Really?
Right across from the museum. Little dicey neighborhood. You know? Bed-Stuy was right there. So that's okay. Now jeez, can you imagine?
Yeah, Bed-Stuy is nice now.
Can you imagine $240 a month?
You didn't buy the apartment, did you?
Actually, we did.
Oh my God! So you must have made a boatload of money on that
we
thing.
made some money, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
But
you
not
must
like
have
now.
printed money.
It's like ridiculous.
Yeah. Too bad you couldn't have kept it and just rented it out.
Right.
Yeah.
You didn't think, though.
No, it was like a fraction of what it's worth now. Anyway, you do what you do.
You do. You do. Well, that's the one thing. You spent time in Brooklyn when it wasn't as nice, and now it's much nicer. So it's not just everywhere. It's not just Syria and Juarez. Like Brooklyn improved. so there are positive ones too.
Our base of operations for this for Homeland is in Greenpoint.
Oh yeah.
And the office is right there on the water, overlooking Manhattan. It's really spectacular.
Yeah.
But there's so much construction down there. You can't, like, the streets are always closed because so many buildings are going up down there. Great big,
For sure.
I don't know who's got all the money for all these places because you got to know those apartments are going to be extravagantly expensive with that fabulous view.
Yeah.
You wonder, is this boom going to last? Is the bottom going to drop out? Because if Brooklyn's being eaten up, which it already has,
Yep.
where do the young artists, dancers, musicians, where do they live?
Yeah, you know what it is? They move into dangerous neighborhoods. Like a lot of these young people attack hipsters. They're a little annoying, but they move into neighborhoods that are rough, and so there's always a place that the rent is cheap and that they find and they move into, and then as they come, a coffee shop opens, and then all of a sudden more money rolls into it.
But where would these areas you're talking about be?
There's always going to be some. The Bronx, I think, is next. There's got to be areas in the Bronx.
I'll bet the Bronx will be next, to tell you the truth.
And it's so funny. Like hipsters really mean well, and a lot of them are very open, but they have no idea. Like they really are the beginning of the gentrification push.
The beginning of the end.
They don't even mean to be. Yeah,
They're just trying to be part of the community.
And they just want to kind of live there and pay a rent they can afford. And next thing you know, it's fucking white people tap dancing in behind them. Like, all right, they kind of laid they made the path safe for us. Like,
yeah. They have cleared the way.
And they don't mean to be.
No.
They're a part of something. They're like the lead of something that they don't agree with.
Right. They're just trying to go in and be like, yep, we're just here to experience what you guys experience. They're like, no, you're actually taking it away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not intentional. So when does Homeland premiere?
Well, Homeland's on Sundays at 9 p.m., right?
Oh, is it already on this season?
Shut up.
Yeah,
it premiered 2 weeks ago.
You're right. It's funny.
You're missing
It's
episodes.
awfully early in the morning.
No, you're
By the way,
wrong.
there's the answer to your question. How do you keep it all in your head? You don't.
No, I was thinking of the important stuff, like the career and Syria and Juarez. I wasn't thinking about the technical stuff, like the only
career's
reason
fine.
he's here.
Yeah, like the stuff he's promoting.
Yeah.
The only reason he would do interviews.
Yeah, exactly. I'm concentrating on the fun stuff, not the business at hand.
I see.
I apologize.
I see.
Actually, it's important to me that we tell jokes because nobody tells jokes anymore. I love jokes, and they've disappeared. Have you noticed?
Yes.
But people are afraid of getting in trouble.
Why?
Because people are afraid of getting in trouble.
And because
On
people
both
You're
sides.
kidding me.
No, they're afraid.
and
of
because
being,
people want to be upset too. It's easier to be upset than to be funny, I think. And so people And so people decide that they want to have something to complain about because you don't have to be creative to complain about something.
I know a great dumb blonde joke.
Yeah.
Ready?
I'd love
Yes.
to hear it.
Dumb blonde walks into a library. She says, "Hi, I'd like a cheeseburger, some fries, and a Coke." And the guy says, "Lady, this is a library." She goes, "Oh, I'd like a cheeseburger, some fries." Isn't that great?
That's a good joke. That is a good joke.
But that's funny unless you're blonde, and I'd like to
And, yeah,
apologize to anybody blonde
Here
who
we
might
go.
be
We
offended.
do want to apologize.
That's right, who might be offended, and we actually think you walked into a library. But yeah, it's weird. People are just afraid of getting in trouble. That's why they don't really tell jokes. And you're right; it's easier to be outraged than it is to be funny.
Do you tackle, by the way, that on Homeland, like because it's a show that deals with terrorism and all this stuff?
Yeah.
Like we don't want certain people to be portrayed in certain ways, and this character needs to be portrayed by this ethnicity because if there's too many Middle Eastern people being shown as terrorists, then that's portraying all Middle Eastern people as terrorists, and blah blah blah. Like, is that anything that pops up on your radar?
If the material is good, I don't think that that is part of the conversation.
Yeah.
As long as it's not, like a bullshit story.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the truth is the truth, no matter how many people these days think there's no such thing as the truth. I think there's a truth. And I think when you see it, you recognize it, you smell it.
Yeah.
I don't quite understand how people are getting away with telling lies so freely.
Alternative facts.
Well,
They're not
everyone
lies
considers
anymore.
they're fucking lies. I mean, when is it going to start? When are we going to start calling this country the United States of America instead of the red states, blue states?
Right.
I mean, it is the United States, isn't it?
Yeah, well, each
me a
side
break.
wants to be united because they want the other side to just blindly agree with them. They're like, well, once you agree completely with me, then we'll be united. So I don't know why you won't be united.
Well, I
with
think
me.
social media and Twitter helps because everybody's really reasonable.
Oh, you think that's
Yeah, it's
just,
very positive.
That's just a good communication tool.
Yeah, I like it anyway. Even though I know it's negative and it's kind of shitty, I'm shitty too. It's fun. It's fun. You just got to go in with the right headspace.
Now, you see, that expression is beautiful.
What?
I'm shitty too.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be swell?
Yes. And
Yeah.
the fact that I put in the 2 was very generous. I should have just said I'm shitty and put a period. I just wanted to include all of you. But
Yeah.
the fact is, I know I am.
No, it is nice to be able to laugh at somebody's expense and not have it be like this whole thing. It's just a funny thing,
Well, you could get away with it if you would shoot everybody down. If you could insult everyone equally. You know?
Right.
Don't exclude anyone.
But you try that, but then people always find a reason why they shouldn't be insulted.
Well,
You've never
fuck
been
'em.
marginalized.
Yeah.
Fuck them.
That's
I'd love
exactly
to.
right.
Fuck them if you can't take a joke, right?
Yeah. We were looking at
God, my mother, God rest her, she would beat me if she heard me talking like this.
The language, right?
she didn't like bad language.
She wouldn't let us watch The Untouchables.
Really?
She was tough Italian. Oh no, that's not the Italians. They other. What about the Jewish gangsters? What about the Irish
So
gangsters?
she was there. This is what we're talking about, though. She didn't like the portrayal of Italians
No,
on television
no,
back
that's
then.
right.
Did she see The Sopranos? That got a lot of
Yeah, she
crap.
wasn't around for the
Oh,
Sopranos.
she died before.
But I know this. She loved the prominence of Italian actors. She was very proud of that.
Yes.
But when I did Scarface, I said, "Mama, don't watch this movie, Mom." She did. She said, "Tell Al." She was really serious. "Tell Al he shouldn't use that language. It's bad for the Italians." I said, "Mama, he's just doing the script." No, he's a star. He can do what he wants to. She was wonderful.
Have you really been married for 55 years?
That's right. Wow, isn't that amazing?
Pretty amazing.
I'm fascinating to me.
Yeah, me too. I'm serious.
Yeah.
Yeah, 55 years.
How did you meet your wife?
Just luck. A guy, I'm leaving El Paso. I went out to LA to seek my fortune. He said, look this girl up. And I did, and we've been together ever since.
Are you stubborn or in love?
I am, I'll tell you what, it was, gee whiz. Robert Mitchum was asked, how did he explain the success of his long, long marriage?
Mm-hmm.
He said, lack of imagination. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
It's luck, if you can hang in. I wish I had advice. It's just that, you change a different, like the two of you.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, sometimes you're on a really, on the same level, same communication level. And when you're not, you pick up his end. And when he's not, you pick up his. That's the same thing with the marriage. It's a little more serious. But when you get to the point, and this still happens, even though we've been together all these years, where you think, this woman does not understand me. After all this fucking time, all these years. And at the same time, she's thinking the same thing about you.
Right.
If you get past that, I mean, that's the trick.
Right.
Then the history that you've gone through, it's a much richer relationship. I mean, regarding relationships that you just toss off in a year or two, that's too bad.
But you guys, like, to know you get married in 62, like, you were married during the Kennedy assassination.
Yeah.
Like, do you, like that to me, to put a time frame on it, that's
Yeah.
fascinating.
Yeah.
That a couple has been together
It's
for
a hard time.
Where were you guys? I mean, that's an odd question. You were in LA.
Yeah, I was looking for my success there.
Wow.
Man.
That's a long time. And did you ever think, like, I don't want to be in this? Or you're like, no, this is where I want to be?
No, I had no choice. It's dedication. It's my calling.
It seemed
Really?
like
I mean, I'm serious.
Yeah.
it was just there was no other option. That's what
No,
you were
I
doing.
was in high school. I was a hoodlum. I was a bum. I was a gang member. And this teacher, I was about 16, said, you should try this. I mean, nobody gave a shit about me. I was just looking to get out of school and getting the hell out of El Paso.
What'd the gang do?
And she said, try this. Oh, he's over the stupid things, stealing cars and breaking into places and,
Did you ever go to jail?
Yeah, but it was like that overnight stuff. It's nothing
Yeah.
serious.
So when you go into
we had fights, but nobody got killed.
Well, it was fist fights.
That's all.
Occasional knife, no?
Yeah, but like nobody got killed. Not like now. Jesus, these guys are crazy. They got firepower, man.
yeah.
No, we were not like some of the real big gangs. No, we were just self-protection. But the point is, how did this woman, Lucia Hutchins, my teacher in high school, how did she see through all that bullshit I was going through?
Maybe you lied once in class or something, and she's like, "Wow, this guy's good."
He's a good actor.
Yeah.
Anyway, bless her heart.
When you meet other actors, though, especially in the beginning, maybe not so much now, but in the beginning, and they're kind of, some of them are like snowflakes or whatever, very delicate.
Right.
And you've kind of seen some shit in your life already.
Yeah.
Is it difficult to relate, like, to people that maybe don't have the street smarts that you acquire only from living that kind of a life? Or
I don't know. It's just like you're judging people. I don't know.
Yeah.
I tell you, you're looking at a different man than I was then.
Right.
You know, I've been very different.
They're probably different around you too, though, because once you win an Oscar and you know, again, you were in such classic films, you're seeing a different version of those actors, and a lot of people might see they're coming to you in a very respectful way.
He's right.
You seem like a very self-aware, but also almost reflexive and correcting person. Like you're.
Yeah, but I'm old.
Yeah, yeah. So you can
Don't
look
forget
back.
that.
Yeah. Because I was reading an interview that you did in 2013 where you were talking about the fact that you were an asshole on Chicago Hope, I think. And
I don't know if I didn't read that show, but it was something. I'm sure I was an asshole.
Oh,
Yeah.
Sam.
yeah, well, I'd say whatever it was, and that you kind of came out of it knowing, okay, I was in the wrong in that scenario, and I'm not going to be that guy anymore.
Oh, yeah.
That's an interesting place to get to.
Yeah, it's like not everyone comes to those realizations. Like you said, I'm an asshole too, you know. you continue to be an asshole. And I've worked with them. We all have. And why they don't come to some kind of self-realization? Unless they just simply like being an asshole.
We have to go. We got 10 seconds.
I know. F. Byrne Abraham. It's 9 p.m. on Showtime is Homeland, and that's what he's promoting.
Yeah.
And we're very happy you came in. This was great.
You're amazing, man.
Pleasure,
Come back.
man.
Yeah,
Come
you're
back.
awesome.
It's a lot of fun. We'll see you tomorrow.